are the champions, my friends. We'll keep on fighting till we win. We are the champ. We're going to do a victory lap or two. This can be, the news still hasn't quite settled down. I don't know if it's sunk in for everyone yet, but we beat the SEC. The case that looked, again, so obvious and so not well put together. And so what? We beat it. They didn't dismiss it. We beat it. Just want to make that clear. It's been very clear on Twitter from a lot of different accounts as well. A lot of different people covering it. I also saw Altcoin Daily covered it as well. Recently, I might clip that one out and see too. But yeah, they did not dismiss the case. We beat them on merit, dismissed because of lack of jurisdiction, and what was the other one? Just not having a case. What was it? Just there's no core ideal or something like that. Anyways, if you want to binge some of that content, me and Nuclear Herbs did a deep dive. That talked about Interpol a lot as well, and really good the other day. So really enjoyed that one. But today we got Kong on location. Back to the show. How's it going, man?
What up? How's everyone doing?
We're here. We're thriving. We're not just surviving. We're thriving. We're thriving.
Yeah, thriving, feeling alive. Green. I think we had some nice green candles, so
staying
it's very
alive,
nice.
Staying alive. There's something.
I like the intro. We are the champions.
Right. We got to play some music. I mean, it's been a year and a half since this BS came up. So like, if you're not celebrating, if you haven't been celebrating this past weekend, I don't know. Like maybe you're in hibernation or whatever. Some breaking news. We've been winning. We've been winning hard lately.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I actually don't know if the SEC. I actually don't like. I'm still trying to even figure out like from their perspective if like I wonder if they even had any malicious intent or something like this. Like I would, especially because I think this tweet kind of captures kind of the reason why I say this is because you can see Richard. I don't want to say against all odds because I feel like especially if you were in the community, like it was almost obvious. But if you're going with the narrative, like if the SEC was trying to, I don't know, have more of a malicious intention in terms of trying to attack Richard, like it's almost like he did beat him against all odds. And you can see the other cases as well: Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Ripple, Tron. I can't read that one at the bottom. Terraform. All denied. Yeah, all denied. And Richard Hart seems like. I think I asked Grok about this too. It's like very not very many cases just get kind of get thrown out like that. So it's very good news is what I'll say.
This is actually the first time I went through this tweet. I've been so much good stuff, so much positive, productive things going on in the ecosystem. It's actually very refreshing and nice to see. And this one is, I went in court. Everyone else not so much. I mean, you see for the PulseChain, Hex, Richard Hart one. Granted, all the other ones Kong talked about denied, which is interesting because I mean that's a key difference in this. We talked about it the other day with Nuclear Herbs. We won, like we beat them. The judge dismissed it based on having no merit and no reason to be there, not just jurisdiction, but also the one that keeps slipping my mind. That is just like it's just not. There's nothing here. There's nothing to do. So even if there was no jurisdiction, or even if there was jurisdiction, there's no case to be had, which is amazing. And you see all the other ones that had to go through either more in the process or otherwise had to settle, or some of them have got the cases dropped by the SEC. But this one was like, no, SEC, no need to drop it. No need to go. There's nothing here. There's nothing to drop.
I think the only thing the SEC dropped was the ball. So
there you go. I like it. SEC dropped it. Where's the memes, by the way? I haven't seen a lot of. I've seen the one where RH was putting the deuces up on the grave, and the SEC and Hexo was in it. You see that one? That was a pretty good one.
I have not seen that one.
Oh man, I gotta bring it up. That's a funny one, and it's got Elon's in it too. It was pretty good.
We need more memes is always good. So
yes, yeah, I'll find that here in a second and pull it up. But that was a great one. But I think everyone's just super busy, just celebrating and being like, holy crap! Like again, I don't even think to me it wasn't even surprising that we won. It was just surprising that, not even that it took so long. Again, I was like strapped in. All right, whenever it comes, it comes. It's just one of those things where I I expected it to happen at some point. I expected it to be resolved favorably at some point. I mean, but I didn't. When it finally happens, you know, it hits you. It's like, oh crap! Like that thing that I knew was going to happen, or I hoped it's going to happen, and we've been waiting on it to happen. It finally happened, and it's like, I don't know. It hits a little differently, you know.
And I don't know. I like I kind of had this mindset that it might actually take a lot longer than what it really did, and it might be like there might be more back and forth, right? Especially like when you're looking at things like XRP, and I think that's a little bit more tricky with Ripple, right? It seems like I actually don't know exactly what they have going on over there, but I feel like that's a trickier case to win, and it did take a long time, right? I think they've been battling the SEC for a very long time now, and maybe the timing was also great with the new administration with Trump and kind of having some more pro crypto people in power as well. That's a good one.
Definitely.
But
right.
yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it didn't take. I feel like I had the impression it might have taken a lot longer, but I feel like we got a good resolution pretty fast. So I'm very happy with the outcome, and I'm sure Richard is as well. And I think the meme pretty much summarizes everything. So
yeah, I think that's the thing. It's honestly, I thought it would take, you know, again, 2025. I thought it'd be shaping up as an amazing year for crypto. For us, I was hoping to get some response, at least, whether a case went on or partially dismissed or fully dismissed. But actually, if you take a look at it, a year and a half is not too bad to go through such a, I mean, I won't say complicated, but like so many different moving pieces. And again, you're suing like the blockchain and all this. There's all these things going on. It's not just like, oh, we think thing happened, and then that. It's like, you know, if you went through the motion to dismiss and all the different counter arguments for why it shouldn't exist, the case should exist in the first place. There's a lot going on, and for a year and a half to get through all the bureaucracy and go through the last administration, who obviously wasn't friendly to crypto, and then now it really does feel like the stars are aligning. Like it, I'm trying to like not factor that in, but it really feels like this timeline's pretty cool so far, man. I like this timeline.
I think I saw Hexo post a tweet about, I think the planets, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw he posted a tweet saying that planets literally aligned on that same day that the SEC case got dismissed, which that would just be crazy, right?
I saw one where the Eric Trump tweet about Richard Hart should be free or something like that. That somebody circled the time, and the time was 2:28 p.m. and the date it happened was February 28th. And I was like, coincidence? And I was like, that is actually weirdly mysterious. Like right?
That is like, that's just, yeah, it's just kind of odd, right? Like
I might have to find that one too. Yeah, somebody actually circled that. I was like, I don't think that's, oh yeah, here it is. That's why everyone comes to the show, to see the best memes and the best conspiracy pieces that I come across from time to time. We come across. Yeah, look at that. That is kind of crazy.
228. Wow.
Right.
He crystal balled it.
Shout out to Don Trump Jr. Yeah, not Eric. Sorry, I got him mixed up. Don Trump Jr. out there. I think he's also pretty bullish on Ethereum, and a lot of people in this ecosystem prefer Ethereum to price go up. That's what I've heard as well. Crypto Dave, thoughts on ETH being included in U.S. Strategic Crypto Reserve? Yeah, what do you think, Colin? We got Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, a few of those.
I think that's massive, right? Even if you're looking at ETH from that kind of fundamental or even like technical perspective, like PulseChain is the same thing. So I don't want to spread rumors, but I guess it could be possible. Like if you already have something that, like, even if it, like, let's say you have a better Ethereum, you have a faster Ethereum, you have a cheaper Ethereum, maybe like they already have some Ethereum as well. I think they know about PulseChain and stuff too. So I don't know, maybe especially with the case and all that stuff. But I think it's even I don't know. I think I'm spreading rumors a little bit there, but even with just Ethereum kind of getting the love from the U.S. Strategic Reserve, I think that would be great for PulseChain as well, just because of Hart's Law and whatnot, right? And I think maybe one of the reasons why PLS hasn't taken off to the full extent is I think we haven't seen Ethereum take off to that full extent as well, like in terms of the altcoin season, right? So yeah, I think it's bullish for Ethereum, and I think if something's bullish for Ethereum, it's most likely bullish for PulseChain as well.
There was before, let's see, I got another one here too, but on that, I came across, somebody was talking about how we pumped harder. What did you see that one where we pumped harder than the like XRP and ADA and stuff did based on the news? What was that? See if I can find that one.
I don't think I saw that, but I do think I think that's right. Even like incentive was up a lot, right? Like incentive was up a lot, Hex was up a lot, PLS was up a lot. PLSX did extremely well. And I think, as I understand, and this might be some alpha for guys watching the RHMax channel, but as I understand, I think there was the OA buying up PulseX pretty much, or at least addresses kind of tied to the, I don't know if it's OA or SAC wallets, but addresses tied to that sort of those treasury funds. And I think they were buying up some PulseX on the news as well, which is awesome, right? So
we're hitting all the we're turning all the knobs today, man. Yeah, there you go. As judge dismissed the case, OA started buying PulseX just now. 290 ETH, 290 ETH swapped to PulseX. Look at that.
You got it all documented here.
I like clicking my bookmark button. Bookmark good. Yeah. So 40 ETH. Looks like 40 ETH clips up to 290, according to shout to Storyteller 17 Martin here.
Yeah, I think that's one of the, I think that's very bullish. We also saw PulseX, and I honestly haven't checked the chart in a few days, but last time during the pump, I think we saw PulseX flip its ratio in Pulse, which I don't know how many people expected that, but I think it might have been unexpected, especially if you guys remember when PLS first came out. Like PLSX had some major FUD, and that ratio just completely turned around now. So I think that's extremely bullish, just kind of given the whole chain as well.
Yeah, the ratio I saw, but I mean, I always see the chart. I think so many times I've seen the chart of it gaining versus Pulse over time. And that's a very underrated thing that a lot of people don't know. They're like, what do I do with my PulseX? Like, there's nothing to do with it right now. You know, where's single side staking? Where utility? And holding it versus Pulse, I forget what the chart shows, but it went up over a long period of time. So do you like price appreciation? Maybe, against other assets, against the gas token at least? There you go.
Yeah, I think it's up at least a few %% versus PLS, and that doesn't, like, we're not even, I don't know if we're even fully priced in like any new narratives like you're describing. If there's, I think Richard's, like, as I understand, he has a very good track record of kind of doing the things he said he was going to do, right? And I think he's talked about PulseX single-sided staking. I haven't heard it in the same sense of like some of the other features and some of the other things he's kind of talked about, but I think you could still see more upgrades and kind of features come into PulseX, which could even be more bullish. And now that we don't have the SEC breathing down our backs, like, I think it's going to be I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for just builders in general who are wanting to come over onto PulseChain and build, and then also for what I assume is like Richard's devs, right, and actually building out some more infrastructure or features for PulseChain and his core tokens as well. And I think this might be some secret alpha as well, but even incentive, if you guys have watched some of Richard's older streams, he's talked about DAO functionality with incentive and stuff like this, which I think is written in the code as well. I mean, I think the Hexkins have exposed that, right? And it's not like we don't have that yet for incentive, but these things can pop up, right? And like these new narratives can get creative and kind of help accelerate price. So
yeah, I think actually, I kind of want to look up now. By the way, hexsearch.io if you want to search Richard's content across the streams. Shout out to what was his name? The guy who made this. Forget his name, but shout out to whoever made this. It's been awesome. It's been great for clipping and stuff too. But yeah, I do kind of want to, because back then, before all the stuff launches, it's hard to say how Richard put it. Like, did he say incentive token? Did he say, oh,
I might have
yeah.
I might have clipped it actually, and I might be able to find the tweet on my X, and I'll
sweet.
send it to you, Max.
Yeah, please do that. Awesome. And when you said there may be upgrades and stuff too, it literally, this song popped in my head. Shout out to Post Polar and all the funny stuff they did. So the first line of this is Hex is complete. Da-da, 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 da. And it's like it is this like new paradigm too of a lot of people coming from Hex into PulseChain. Remember, Richard saying over and over and over, there's other than no expectations and other than I don't work for you and all that stuff. One of the things he highlighted a lot with Hex is it is complete. There's no other thing you need to do. The code is out there, and that you can use it. And there's all these different promises. People give you promises, and you got to do all this stuff. Anyway, this song, if you never heard it, it's super funny, and probably my favorite Hex song, my favorite funny Hex song. I'll say that. And yeah, everyone give it a watch when they want. Well, actually, this is a different version too. There's multiple versions, but anyways, there's that one. There's the one where Richard is clipped saying a bunch of funny stuff as well. So shout out to everyone creating content. You guys doing a lot of great jobs out there.
I think that's one of the best things about the Hexkins is I think we probably build and produce some of the most kind of content and things like surrounding the whole ecosystem, probably more than majority of all other crypto communities and kind of ecosystems. So
we are, and we've seen it pick up too. We've seen I don't want to say we needed this because I never like to think we need anything. I think we've got all we need, but I think just the sentiment and the ability for people to believe harder, or however people tend to think about these things in the ecosystem after price down for a while and bad news this way and Interpol and all this stuff. It was an amazing uplifting moment for the community in the last few days, and hopefully writing this into the conference and maybe this will be, who knows if this is the up only time, when up only time, Dev. I hope at some point, but it's one of those things that I'm happy that it happened for the community. I'm happy for everyone to have something to, if they were not so excited about things, they're energized now.
I think even kind of back to the SEC stuff, but I think that ruling is it's big for all of crypto as well. Like I think we're feeling the effects of it, and we're kind of feeling like the goodness of it, like right here, right up front. Because I think we're probably closest to that source and like kind of closer to that in the know in terms of this ecosystem. But I think even in terms of macro crypto, I think this ruling and Richard Hart's, I think it might even set like a precedent, which could be good for just kind of cryptos in general and altcoins in general, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. So
like Nuclear Herbs had an article here to the key point. Mr. Hart beat the SEC because he understood securities laws better than SEC did.
That's the TLDR.
This guy. Are we amazing to have these amazing community members that are just say these things that are so, it's not even hyperbolic. It's just like, didn't he? If you, how many, like, it's like Richard could be an SEC lawyer. He could be, he could be like, he could run the SEC himself because he's said a billion times, he knows all the stuff. He knows all the things. He knows how to stay out of trouble, type of deal. And he successfully proved it here. So pretty cool. When PulseChain in reserve. Well, I wonder if we have an Ethereum reserve, and I guess it would be, my first thought was like, okay, what about the airdrop? What about the wallet? Like, if they used a wallet that already had other coins in it and they had a PulseChain airdrop, and we saw the Ethereum reserve address, could we point it to gopulse.com/start and show them they had all this money in it? And when the U.S. government clicked, would they click the RPC button and switch it over and start interacting on PulseChain? I don't know. That's probably maybe far-fetched, and it'll probably be like a fresh wallet, and it'll probably be cold, and they'll probably be very careful with a lot of these things. But it'll be funny one day if we're pointing at the Ethereum reserves. Look, the US has a bunch of PulseChain too. Look at it. Look at all the tokens they have on PulseChain. That'd be funny.
I don't know. I think even a good point is like if you were in Ethereum, like let's say in like 2016 or something like this, and like you were talking about like a strategic reserve or something like this, you'd probably get laughed at, and you'd probably even get laughed at for just talking about Ethereum in general. And then now you can see how everything kind of unravels and everything. Like the truth will prevail, right? I think Ethereum Like it's I think it's proven itself, and I think PulseChain's in that same sort of sense, right? Where it's still kind of early days, and like anything might seem far-fetched now, but as time evolves, like it just could come into place anytime. So also, I think I'll also say that as well.
And another thing, a PSA for, I guess, security. Richard posted some, oh, not that one. Richard, now I'm listening to the song. Great song. OPSEC stuff as well. I post that from time to time. It is vital that cryptocurrency have the same or better privacy that bank accounts have. Young lady was just home invasion for crypto. Wow. She had shown a recent $20 million Bitcoin balance online. Do not do this. Do not do this. I don't give a lot of advice of any sort, especially financial, but Jesus, do not tell, like, there's no benefit in telling people about your crypto and how much you have. And I'm glad, hopefully she's okay and all that stuff too. But geez, like, lesson, do not do this. Do not let
I think
this incident
there's
go in
one
vain.
piece of advice. That's it right there.
It's crazy. Wow. Again, I go back to this mental model that Richard talked about all the time. There's no benefit. There's no benefit in doing these things. So just, yeah, and have your privacy. Like it's better than not privacy in so many different ways. Wow.
And
That's crazy.
I want to add something to this as well, as like if you're posting or sharing token balances, your wallet's doxed effectively. Like if someone, like, yeah, if you post your exact token balance down to the decimal, like your wallet has been doxed effectively. Even, yeah, especially if it's an exact token amount. I think you can, and again, never post your US dollar amount either, especially for your whole entire wallet. But these types of things, like, people can find your wallet, like especially if you're posting balances and stuff, like any sort of thing, like telling people when you're doing transactions, or if you've done a transaction into what, like these things, like keep it to yourself. Like you shouldn't ever mention pretty much anything to do with like kind of your kind of like what you're up to in kind of crypto in that sense. Like, yeah, don't post your balances.
Yep, there's exactly. Real quick, we'll hit on the Hex OA piece here as well. Amazing work Ben Sierra has been doing. I came on his show, me and Crispy, the other day as well, to do a Hex 2024 rewind. That was super fun, very informative. Even more than the rewind, we talked about a lot of key concepts, and I tried to ask a lot of good questions and get some good answers out of these guys too, because they know what's up and they have the best charts and a lot of great stuff too. But yeah, breaking the highest amount of Hex ever staked in February, without counting the OA. And he didn't say not counting the Godwell. So I'm not sure. These numbers look awful big. I'm not sure if it's Godwell or not Godwell involved as well. But geez, what's when you see this 22 billion Hex staked outside of the biggest staker that we know of, what is it? Unbelievable? Like, what does that strike you as?
It's pretty massive, right? Especially with the inflation cuts. Like you should almost be asking yourself, like, what are these whales like? And like, it's probably smart money, right? But what are these guys seeing that perhaps like the people who aren't staking are maybe not seeing, right? Especially when you're seeing like the highest amount of Hex ever staked. It's quite incredible, right? And you're seeing like with the inflation kind of cuts as well. I think, yeah, you gotta ask yourself why. And I think they're bullish on Hex. And I think I think 555s could actually be even more lucrative than we initially imagined, even with this lower inflation could cause more price appreciation, which is I think that's the biggest component to like your crypto, right? I think yield, as like how I kind of look at it, is like that's your cherry on top, right? But the real, I think like the real meat and potatoes, I think, is in your price appreciation. So I think these guys, they're locking in, right? Also probably trying to capture as much price appreciation, and then also get that yield for that cherry on top as well. So
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like this stuff, this is the type of stuff that you look at. And I did a poll recently. It's, on the price, or just in crypto in general. I kind of, was thinking about Hex when I did it, but like, why do people like, so yeah, I've not talked to Kong about this yet either, but if I just asked you the question, Kong, when do you buy crypto? When you think the price is going to go up or when the price is going to go down? Which one would you choose? Like, when do you buy crypto? If you think the price is going to go up or you think the price is going to go down?
That's a good question. I think like ideally for the probably the average guy, you'd probably want to. I think they only want to buy when the price is moving up, right? But I think the smartest thing to do is to buy. I think this is what the smart monies do. This is what I do as well. Is like buying when things are down, right? Like not like when it doesn't feel good to buy, when it feels like you're throwing your money away. That's I think that's when you get your most amount of X's as well, right? Relative to like when it's safe. I saw, and this might be a little bit off topic, but I think it's still kind of on that same train. It's like I think I saw a comment somewhere, and someone was talking about how PulseChain is too, like relatively speaking, too difficult to buy for like let's say your grandma or something like this, and they're basically saying that until it gets easier to buy, it's not going to pump it. I'm not entirely. I don't know if I entirely agree with that take. The reason being is because, and Richard's talked about this before. It's like you don't want to be buying something at the top of its S curve, right? So by the time your grandma's able to buy in, and it's simple enough where she's able to by herself buy some hex or some pulse chain, like all the gains, or let's say majority of the gains, have probably already been made, right? And they were probably made when the price was depressed, when the price was down, which I think is relatively speaking kind of where we are right now, like in terms like I think we're still under sack rate for PLF. So I think there's still like I think there's only room to grow is kind of what I'm saying. And when we do have these exchange listings, and when we do have, like, we've already had the regulatory clarity, right? So I think when we have more of these things coming together, like you'll see that price pump kind of come. But yeah, to answer your question, I think most people want to buy when the thing is going up, or that's when they feel the most comfortable. I think the best time is to buy when everything's depressed. So
it is one of those things. I mean, I guess there's a couple of different trains of thought that can come from that too. Is like, yeah, when is the most profitable time to buy? You know, you can hear Richard saying, you know, best time to buy Bitcoin is when there's no exchanges, when there's no blah blah blah, you know, all that stuff too. And that is something like, hey, you're trying to catch something that's undervalued, and you know, get it to, once it gets to the correct value, or FOMO kicks in, then, you know, price go up and profit and all that stuff too. And then the other side is just in general, like you don't buy something that you think the price, I mean, in general, people, there's just as a face value strategy. I don't imagine a lot of people buy things like, okay, I'm going to buy it now because I think the price is going to go down.
Yeah, I'll buy it today, although I know there's a sale tomorrow.
Yeah. I know this is the top, but I just want to like get in. Like that's not really like when you're FOMO buying. I imagine that the thought is, oh, it's going to go higher. So when you're buying in that context, it's like, I think this is going to go up.
That's
and
true.
I wanted to kind of dovetail that into Hex and why the Hex price is, you know, not $1 right now, for example. I just think a lot of people don't think the price is going to go up like right now. Like they just don't. There's no big, I mean, again, SEC case got dismissed. They see the wealth making moves. They see the vibrant community. You know, again, the central exchange list, you talk about all the stuff we don't have that can onboard people, and how there's friction there, and how there's other coins that are making multiples that we haven't seen with Hex yet, or at least, again, for the cycle. But I just don't think, I think when people think, when there's something that strikes them as, oh my God, I got to get in this now because I think the price is going to go up, then I think we'll see the retail run on Hex and or any coin. Like you can say that Hex or anything else. But I just think in general, that's the sentiment that I kind of see, is like everyone's kind of waiting. Maybe they don't have a lot more money to buy. Maybe they're, you know, again, they're just waiting for their bag to go up. But I just don't think a lot of people, like right now in, you know, March 2025, at least the people who are already in, maybe they don't have a lot of dry powder either. But I just don't see that fever of, I think the Hex price is going to go up, other than, you know, again, people who are making content and tweeting about it and stuff like that. The overall sentiment seems to be like, I hope it goes up. I want it to go up, but I'm not 100% certain to go up. Or, you know, a lot of people just don't have extra money to put into it right now because of the economy and different stuff too. But anyways, what do you think the whole?
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think it, like, to kind of even build on top of what you're saying as well, is like it could almost be a good thing as well, as like when you have kind of the crowd fading a certain token, like that almost gives it that it almost gives it that room to grow when you do get that induced FOMO, right? So if everyone's like, I don't think so, it's, I'll just wait, I don't think it's gonna pump, and it's, or it's for whatever other reasons, like you just like have to pay your bills or whatever, right? But I think as soon as they start to see the price move and you start, like, it's going to be that positive feedback loop. And I think that's kind of what you're describing as well, is like you'll see that first kind of initial run up on Hex, and then people will start to think it'll go up. You have more people buy in, and then price moves up, let's say, a little bit more. Now you have more people thinking the price is going to go up even more. You have more people buy in. It's going to be positive feedback loop like that. But yeah, to your point, I think that's a very good, that's a very good way of almost like kind of framing the sentiment right now, is like I think a lot of people just they just like I don't think they think their Hex is going to $1 tomorrow, right? So there will probably, but there will, yeah, I think there, but there will probably be a day though where people do where they do think that maybe the Hex price can hit $1 tomorrow, right? Maybe you're at like 70 cents, 50 cents, and like, there's like, you really have like, I need to get in before $1, right? So
yeah, I think we'll see it too. I think one of the indicators I would say, I would speculate may be useful is on Twitter. If I start seeing Hex is going to $1 now, get in or stay broke, mofo. If I start seeing like constantly tweets like that for weeks at a time, I can't help but there's got to be a correlation. Like I kind of want to do this now. I want to see when I start seeing the social media sentiment go super positive for any coin. We could say, our ecosystem, of course, too. And I want to look at the price chart. I want to see side by side. And I want to believe there would be a correlation there. That would be interesting. Hopefully somebody will do that experiment this cycle.
I think they're 100%. I think they're 100% is, right. Like I feel like almost most definitely, like as you have the price going up, you have even probably some crazies come out and just start posting some crazy stuff as well. But like I think just across the board, even you have everyone getting hyped. Even what we saw maybe a little bit with the SEC, like I don't know if it was to that full extent what we're talking about with like everyone feeling bullish, but you saw, I mean, I think we all saw all the tweets, all the sentiment, all the posts, and like the price responded very well to that as well. So if you guys think we're there right when the news dropped, like the price took, like it started pumping fast, but it did take a few seconds to start moving. So
yeah, I just want to pull it up real quick. Oh my God, of course. But look at the 7-day. There we go. Let's just look at Hex real quick. It's like we have a rule. We keep clicking gopulse.com until we see green, and then we talk about it. So yeah, if we just look at maybe the daily real quick too. If we zoom in here, was this the SEC pump? That was. I feel like it went up to here too. Yeah. Well, like 50% on Hex? I feel like Ink maybe did even more.
I feel like might have been like 70-60% on Hex or something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think incentive was the top gainer, and then PulseX.
Yeah. See, so it's hovering around, just around a penny in USD, and then I guess 60%. Okay. Yeah. So we got that, but then it came back down, and we're sitting around 1.2, still up, looks like 20% or so. But yeah, I mean that kind of sustained momentum going into it again. People, yelling on X, oh my God, Hex is going to $5 again, and consistently, not just here and there, like everyone actually believing in the 10,000 X again, believing in the multiple. Like there's no what did Altcoin Daily? They post the clip. And of course, they picked the one where Richard's like, it sounds crazy to say, like something like this, like it sounds crazy to say, but like Hex at $1 million a coin, like like why couldn't it happen? Like the price chart, it looks really good and stuff like that. And all that stuff is kind of, you look at it after much downtime, much brutal bear market, much bad moves over time too, and you're like, yeah, why'd I ever believe in that stuff? That doesn't make any sense. Like, of course, the market cap does matter, all that stuff. man, when you're in the zone, and whether it's the FOMO zone or just the high belief zone, magic can happen. Do not doubt the king. Do not doubt the products that are built to do designed to do 10,000x, as the phrase goes, I think.
And I don't know if this is off topic as well, but I also think that kind of what you're talking about with everyone getting bullish on Twitter, I also think that probably the opposite happens as well, and that also might be. I think you see people also get kind of depressed with the price as well, and I think kind of the kind of the point is like when I think when you see, like, at least in my experience, every single time I've seen like kind of the real people start to come out and start to, seems like they're kind of getting depressed, right? I think that's pretty much like that. I think we've seen it happen time and time again where like the prices kind of move off those levels. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if like kind of what we're talking about, like the opposite as well, where you have people as they're posting more and more bullish. And I think that is also true as well, as like as the price is moving up, it's easier to continue to feel like the price is going to continue to move up, and then kind of the same thing on the downside as well. I don't know if I have a feeling like there's probably some people who feel like I don't know, who feel like they're probably depressed. They feel like they need to sell. But I think it's probably kind of a net positive thing as well, especially with the liquidity setup we have on PulseChain. I think Richard is kind of telling us what he's kind of looking for in terms of like a lower liquidity environment, and then trying to like rinse out some of those people that were just kind of like, I think some of them were just kind of extracting value constantly, right? So yeah.
Do you think, just on that real quick too, do you think that lower liquidity and lower yield, how does that, I mean, to me, it's like 1 + 1 = 2. It's like, it's we're going from season of yield and to season of, hopefully green candles, hopefully easier for price to go up. Am I missing something? Is that not, I mean, again, I don't feel like I'm not trying to connect things that don't connect. I feel like, what would you
I feel
do?
like you're stating the obvious, right?
What would you do if you were preparing, or you thought that the ecosystem had an opportunity to do mad gains? What would you do? Wouldn't you do this?
I think like, I don't know. I think like in terms of like Richard and stuff, I think I think he's also always said he's always done the stuff he said he was going to do. And then I also think even with the court case and stuff, I've always kind of speculated like he has his I think he has his own like roadmap. Like not exactly like the typical roadmap you guys probably have pictured from like your average crypto project, but just like kind of his vision of where he's going to take PulseChain, right? And I think he like the blockchain. We talked about kind of like the freedom of speech aspect, and I think Richard is borderline almost talking to us, right? Telling us that like it's time to move from the yield farming season into kind of price appreciation, and like it pretty much goes hand in hand with lowering inflation and then having a easier price pump potential, and then same thing with liquidity, right? Like if I remember all the numbers correctly, but there was $500 million in V1 liquidity on PulseX. So let's say you have $500 million or something like this. Like, and I don't think there was that many stable coins, but let's just assume that was stable coins. Like, let's just assume it was stable coin liquidity. Like, you're gonna pump the price of PLS of 4x with that 500 million of liquidity. And I think the liquidity it's very good. It's very good to have, but it also does it does make it a little bit more difficult to pump the price, right? Because like if you had the $500 million injection into like $100 million pool, for example, like you're looking at something closer to like a 25x from that same sort of liquidity injection. So yeah, kind of the point is like, to me I think it's almost, feel like I want to say it's almost obvious that Richard's trying to like set up the environment to have kind of a good setup for price appreciation, right? Lower inflation, lower liquidity, both things you need for price appreciation.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like I don't know what else, why else the moves will be made other than, hey, how can we reduce dumping? How can we reduce inflation? How can we make things more scarce? How can we lower liquidity? I mean, that was a whole this whole like literally incentive token. What does it do? It incentivizes you to add liquidity so you earn it, right? So like if you're not earning it anymore, why would you provide liquidity? And why would anyone who can turn those knobs want you to not provide liquidity? And there's like so many things. Again, I think, yeah, maybe Richard talks to us through the blockchain. He literally says things sometimes. Sometimes he's talks in code and all this stuff too, you could say. But I don't know. I feel like, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or next month, but I don't know. I think it is unreasonable that PulseChain doesn't achieve glory, and I'm glad there's some whales that can turn some knobs to make glory good. Make glory good. There you go. Hashtag make glory good.
And I want to add one last point for I think we're gonna move on to back to the DAO stuff. But in terms like the lower liquidity as well, like it not only helps with price pump, but it also helps with getting rid of these sellers, right? And getting rid of these like anyone who is really just extracting value at the end of the day, right? If that's what you're like, if that's what you boil it down to, because like if you have a $60 million pool and let's say you want to sell $1 million, you might be able to get very close to that $1 million out of that pool. And then if you're talking about like a finite amount of stable coins like in existence and then also in existence on PulseChain, if someone's able to have like their bags worth $1 million and sell for let's say 880,000 after slippage, and that might even be like not the exact kind of number, but kind of the point remains the same. Is like now that we have I think that wrap Pulse DAI pool is like 10 million in liquidity or 15 million in liquidity now. So if you wanted to take your like let's say you have $1 million worth and you want to sell it, you're going to get significantly less stable coins. Like you're probably going to have 2 to 3 times as much slippage than you would have had at like way more liquid prices, meaning that like if there, like I said, if there's a finite amount of stable coins and you want to sell your $1 million of Pulse with the current liquidity environment, you might only be able to get out like let's say $600,000 or $700,000, right? Compared to like $800,000 or $900,000 in the higher liquidity environment. So you'd be able to kind of like pull less value off chain, and like more of that stuff would like more of it would stay kind of on the Pulse chain, right? And then not only that is like I think you have more of the stables now. I think you still have a lot in the pools, but I think you still have some like sidelined as well, which I think is also it's also good because now you're not kind of providing them for liquidity for sellers to take and then leave to like Ethereum or something like this as well. So I think these are all like good points.
I only see $15 million worth of stables on PulseX.
And that I think that's total, hey.
That's total between DAI, USDC, and USDT, about 15 million.
So yeah, like, and I think the point still kind of remains true is like, and it might even be like even more to that extent as well as like if you're a seller in this market, like you have $1 million worth of Pulse before you, let's say you could pull out 900K in this environment, like you might only be able to pull out like less than 600 or like maybe around there. So a lot more slippage, meaning that like a lot more value just gets stored on chain, and it doesn't get bridged out if that's what people were doing, right? Because I assume like if these guys were selling their Pulse chain or their Hex Pulse chain for yield, they more than likely you have to move it either maybe to Coast or something, or get some Coast stables, or like you'd have to off ramp it somehow to be able to spend the money, which probably means bridging out and moving to Ethereum. So I think now that we're seeing these low liquidity environments, it's bullish in all directions.
And just to hit on Kong found this clip about the DAO, and this is, I shared it in the chat as well. He does talk about it, and then I think for me, I know before in the code and stuff it talks about DAO, and there was like this whole thing when PulseX first came out about like rumbling about that. I think there's two different pieces that could happen with it. Either this could be an ideal that he was thinking about. Again, we don't have single side staking right now either. And we used to be we're going to be like a BSC fork instead of ETH 2.0. It could have been an ideal back then that there's going to be a DAO for incentive token, all that, and it's just not going to happen. Or it could be, again, I can't help. I think it's easy to speculate that there is all these upcoming features for PulseX, for example, that are timed when ready, when the right time to create FOMO, to add on this positive sentiment and compound and stuff like that over time. And one of those features could be some utility with incentive token, and could be some new contracts rolled out or otherwise to achieve some of this stuff. So just like single side staking could come, just like upgrades to integrate the bridge to PulseX could come to make it easier to get money in and out of PulseChain. Yeah, some kind of utility for incentive token could come. And yeah, he's got one of my favorite hats on, as well as some beautiful watches, a duck and the bear. Love the duck and the bear. In the throne, talking about it with all the cool stuff a few years ago.
Yeah, I hope he's still in his castle. I actually don't know if I don't know if Finland actually took his watches or not. Or like maybe they gave him back or something. I don't know. But
it's unclear, but yeah, shout out to watches.
Yeah.
Hope you're okay.
Yeah. I think it added a lot of value to the streams, having the spin-in watches back there. So
they were epic. They were so fun. Like literally, I look back and I'm like, I didn't appreciate them enough. After you don't have them for 2 or 3 years, you're like, oh, I didn't appreciate them enough when they were alive. Yeah, I need to see the bear. Is the duck okay? Tell me how the duck's doing. Let's see, what's the other? Oh yeah, I want to bring this one up too. So this is pretty cool. Again, positive momentum, social media, X post, sentiment, almost 60,000 posts about PulseChain Hex and Richard Hart since SEC dismissal news. Sir, that does feel surreal. 60,000, yeah, around 58K in the post here too. That does feel like, whoa, the community is like, again, we are putting in the work. We're doing the work. Like we are making this thing, letting the people know that this is the ecosystem where people care and they want great things to happen.
Yeah, I think that's massive. I think I wish I could see some of the other numbers and stuff. I think maybe we had some social metrics on PulseChain, but I can't quite remember exactly what. But that looks like quite a, like, especially in crypto, like that's like almost like everyone in the community posted at least one tweet or something like this,
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was going nuts. I remember I was kind of like late to everything too at that time. Was it Lunar Crush? Let's check out Lunar Crush real quick. There's also Lunar Shard, which is a PulseChain service to a community project to put files and stuff on the blockchain. But if we go to, I don't need to sign in. Or can I just do it? I think so. If you have an account, I think it's pretty cheap though. Let me just type in Lunar Crush PulseChain. See if it'll give me something free. PulseChain influencers. Yeah, here we go. Maybe it'll give me something here. But this is something if you want to track social media metrics, this is what a lot of people use as well. Tracking engagement, posts, and stuff like that. Come on, give me some on PulseChain. So yeah, so it'll give you like posts here, popular ones. It'll give you like a summary and stuff here. It'll give you the price. They changed it a little bit. I used to like it a little bit better. It was a little bit easier to navigate. It'll give you some of the top creators. Yeah, if you go here, you can see SEC Gov is listed at the top. What? They didn't tweet that much about it, did they? I don't know why that's there, but let's see. Can I sort by engagement?
I think I still find it crazy. It was like the SEC just tweeted about the whole case and stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be like a paper or a publish or like I don't know. I think a tweet's pretty funny. So coming from the SEC.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it's always funny to see that. Well, hopefully we won't see much more of that because they're more friendly in crypto. Why is it not showing me the? It should show. Maybe you got to sign in to actually. Yeah, 41 clicks. They gave you so many clicks now. Is that a thing? Okay. Anyways, if you sign in and anyone signs up and you can see stuff, they actually show you like some metrics on social media and sentiment. 47% positive. Wow. Can I see where's the chart for sentiment? That's got to be up. It's got to be up from what it was before. You can imagine maybe it's in the 20s or 30%, I would say. A lot of neutral probably as well. But anyways, there's a Lunar Crush. Is a place to see a lot of this stuff too.
Did Go Pulse have social metrics? I don't know if I'm like hallucinating or if I remember Go Pulse having like social metrics on there.
That's a good point. Let me check them out. GoPulse.com. They had. I thought there was a social thing. Activity, no. Apps. Trends? I don't know.
I think you're on like the closest. I don't know. I remember seeing like a chart of like engagements. I don't remember where. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure. Sometimes they change stuff on the site too. Oh, here we go. Social media posts. So.
There you go.
Did we hit a low January 36? So what happened on January 25th at 108,000? Was that?
That's a good question.
08 staking? I thought that was in February. Not sure. Definitely ticked up.
Maybe pump.tires, or maybe that was a different time.
Oh, maybe it could have been January was around pump tires time. Maybe. Yeah, didn't see a big tick up actually, even on the 28th. It's around the same 50, 60,000. Social interactions. Okay, let's see. On the 28th, 37. Oh, there was a tick up there. But yesterday, 74,000. What happened yesterday?
That's 74 million.
Or sorry, 74 million. Yeah, 74 million compared to on the day it happened 37. Was it just everyone realizing what happened? And they're like, oh, I should talk about this. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I don't. Honestly, not too sure. So, but yeah, I either way, it does look like the trend is going up and to the right on those social media posts, though, and I think it is kind of like tracking it day over day. So I think I think more posts is probably better. So
posts go up. We gotta pump those numbers up. We need daily active users. We need posts. We need unfortunately gas price go up. We need gas price go up. We know the chain's valuable because people are using it so much. Unless we get technology to reduce it, of course, as well, which we probably have over time. This is one I wanted to cover from Richard too. He posted this. This is one of the best charts I've ever seen. I've never seen it before. I've never shown it before. This is the PulseX price versus Ethereum chart. People that swap their ETH for PulseX are up 4.5x their ETH in 15 months. Look at how consistent.
That's actually a good chart. That's a very good chart.
Right? I didn't even think about it.
I have never charted this for some reason. I don't know why not though, because this is an excellent chart.
So Richard, he says, he'll tweet things again. He talks about $27 million charity. What is like? I think people, when you see that, again, a lot of stuff isn't for you. Like it isn't for people who are already in. It's for people. It's to get. First of all, let me show you an interesting way to think about this. So if we go to Google. Let's see if I go to Google News and I go to type in Richard Hart and you go to news. So a lot of this stuff is indexed. So a lot of his tweets, especially famous accounts and stuff, are indexed. And the reason he keeps repeating a lot of the greatest hits, again, nobody has a crystal ball and knows what he's thinking and stuff, but I can tell, at least in my conclusion is, he wants to get this content fresh and in people's minds. And again, it's not for everyone's here. Not everyone's heard it a million times. It's for the indexing. It's for the searching. It's for the news articles. It's for the people who are the journalists clicking on his profile, the people who are interested in the case, the people who want to know, what this guy's about. They don't have to go back and sift through and miss all the stuff that happened before. He wants to refresh them and show them, again, with stuff like this, how, the products have been more valuable. than some of the other coins, like holding different things. So when you see like all these greatest hits, you see like, I was writing in all that stuff. I think it's a way to produce more latest content around some of the things he wants to highlight, and for people to see new coming in, that all the stuff we already know. But it's not for us. It's for the it's trying to control and have a better narrative around the ecosystem and around him for new people coming in.
I think that's a good point. I think even Richard, and this is sort of my perspective, but it looks like he's kind of like he's like covert marketing a little bit. Like he's not not as like outraged as before, but it's more of a it's I don't know, it's more of like kind of a covert kind of marketing, but it's not like it's not being like a secret. Like I think he's pushing it out there very very well. But it's just in a different kind of manner than it once was. So I think also I saw an article, and I don't know if we've ever covered like a FUD article from Cointelegraph and Richard, or maybe it was like another poster. But I would wonder what their take is after the case got dismissed and stuff.
From Cointelegraph.
Yeah, I think I'm picking on them because I can't remember if it was them or not, but I think
43 minutes ago there's a new one actually.
Huh.
Judge tosses fraud suit against Richard Hart. U.S. tackles bill called law. Let's see what they say. Dismissed $1 million and defrauded. See, they say it like that too. Okay. Dismissed the securities alleging, like, again, a little tiny mention of alleging, and then the rest of it, when you read it, it's like that Hex founder raised over $1 billion and registered could defraud investors. Can you put allegedly at this, so people actually are like not reading into? I mean, again, who knows what their intention was, but boy, that could have been more generously worded. I would say, if I may say so. And look at this.
Yeah.
Who was accused? Like, again, I think is that just like a journalism technique of like, when you want to promote a certain narrative, you put it in, you prefix it instead of postfix, like type of thing, or suffix. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into this. I don't know.
I think it's a bit ambiguous as well. He was accused of spending money on luxury items, like
when they keep saying this too.
Skimming through it.
Yeah, sorry, just real quick. They keep saying this too. It's all because jurisdiction. It's not because of that. It's because they couldn't make a case either. Nobody says that. Nobody wants to say it like that too.
Yeah, kind of. It's very interesting to me. Like, and I think I'm picking on Cointelegraph because I think they posted like major FUD articles, and I don't know if it was if I remember correctly. I think it was these like Cointelegraph who was doing this to Richard, and
Can
like
we get
even the
picture
good.
too?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't know what the intention is with some of these articles, but I think, yeah, like you said, I think they could be a little bit better worded. I haven't looked at a lot of the mainstream. I don't know if this is like, I guess you could consider it like mainstream crypto news. So in terms of like those sources.
I mean, I like the wizard photo, but I know that doesn't look like I want to give this guy money. Not that you were in the first place, but as investors, a lot of times you look at the founder like, do I trust this guy with my money? And this is not, it feels a little intentional that they're like, yeah, make him look like a street magician. Yeah, make him look like that. They're not like,
they prompted GPT like, yeah, make him look more, make him look more sketchy.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Shout out to Wizard Richard, and with his magician hat. That's actually the first videos I ever watched, was his self-help, self-development stuff around how to be a good friend, how to give a better apology, how to stop gambling, playing poker, all that stuff too. It's really, really good stuff. So 2 days ago, yeah, okay. So actually they have this one too. Let me click this real quick. So there's 2 articles. They just mentioned it again. I don't know why there's 2 now, but was accused of spending those. Let's see. Alleged deceptive acts couldn't be decided. See, you say it like that too. Oh, the deceptive acts just couldn't be decided on. It's like, man.
I think it sounds like they made a decision, though, or at least the judge made a decision, right? Like,
I saw an article earlier, and it was like whether it was like basically saying something to the effect of the judge was not taking into account whether you liked his like personal fashion style or his behavior or not. It was, what are the actual facts in the case that got decided on. I was like, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, like who cares whether you agree with is the way he dresses? You know, did he actually do the stuff? No, emphatically no. So there you go.
Even in hindsight now, if you guys remember when they released the article on, I'm saying the SEC, when they released their like press article on Twitter, like stating everything that Richard did, it was like the community members went in there, read it, and then pretty much just pointed out everything that was wrong with it, and it was pretty much everything that was wrong with it. Like they had they sounded like they had pretty much no idea what they were even talking about in a sense. So
I know it's kind of like, honestly, there's so many parallels to Trump and Richard. If you think about the media, it's like you know, same thing with Trump, right? Like the media was trying to you know, gatekeep and hold him back, and didn't like what he's doing and wasn't playing by their rules and all that stuff. Richard, same way, cannot get a break in the crypto media, except every once in a while. This is actually a good article from George News, and where they actually talk about the facts and say it in some kind of positive or neutral tone, at least, instead of the other way around. But just like, we cannot rely on the media to have our backs on this stuff, even when, you know, Eric's content goes positive too. This was so one thing I'll point out on this real quick before we wrap up too. His old blog archive. I've never seen this, so this is something I feel like I've watched every stream. I've clipped a ton of content. I've heard all the words. I've heard all the things. Every once in a while, I'll find something I haven't seen about his background or otherwise. And this is an old blog that was captured. There was at richardjschuler.com here too. So in the news article, if you click just old blog, and I was like, man, I need to read this, because it talks about basically like him in first person, talking about Panama and talking about just like his life and, you know, how he sees himself, and like just getting a sense, I think, after reading this too, and just even bits and pieces, it's kind of like getting a sense of the great things this guy wants to do and what he's really about. And aside from the outrage marketing and the dressing for the punch through the noise, you really get to know, like, man, this sounds like a good guy who has a gift that he wants to share with the world. Like, I really do think so.
I didn't know that he publicly stated his IQ number like that.
147. Yep, me neither.
Which is, yeah, I don't know if he's ever, I know he's mentioned like he's like a genius or whatever, but I don't think he's ever, like, in a super serious manner been like, this is my IQ.
Yep. Pretty interesting to say. Again, just you can use this as a sense to get, you know, what's this guy's about. And I think that's something that not a lot of people pay attention to. They look at, either the dressing, or he talks about price all the time, or, you know, the humble or the bragging, or the humble brags, or otherwise you may read into it. But the dude's pretty cool, and he's very smart and very rich. And I'm very glad he wants to be a good force for good in the world. Like, I cannot be expressed enough. I will not allow it to just become another platitude or another thing people say all the time, just to try to get you, you know, in a good mood. And, oh no, he's actually a good guy. I think it's true, and I don't say a lot of things with confidence that I don't believe otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's the truth. Like, if you're able to see past the outrage, the designer clothes, the spinning watches, the Burberry bears, and just kind of listen to the facts, right? And this kind of what we're talking about in terms, like, what's actually good is just paying attention to the facts, right? And just kind of like you were saying, like, some of that stuff, it's not for everyone, and it's probably it's not for everyone, right? It's probably trying to attract whichever group or whichever type of people, but it's probably not for everyone. And I think Richard, I think he's a very smart guy. So
he still has on his profile richard.com, which currently doesn't point to anything, but somebody made a community mirror of the site, richardtalk.cc, as well. So FYI, if you'd like, that's actually got a cool little. Whoever designed this did a good job. It's really fluff.
It's actually
nice.
a good website. Very good website.
Yeah. Crypto Kong, are you pumped, man? You pumped? You ready? You ready for this?
I've been pumped for a while, man.
You've been pumped.
Yeah.
What do you want to take us out on? What's what are you into this week, and what kind of bullish or bearish sentiment do you want to provide? You take us out.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. We have the PulseCon coming up. I think to be honest with you, I think our community probably has like, I know they have like Bitcoin conferences and stuff, but I don't know of any other kind of like tighter niche altcoin that kind of does meetups like that. Maybe I just haven't heard of them or something like that, but I think it's almost unheard of, right? And you have a ton of people showing up. Like I think that is, I think if there's one key takeaway to kind of take off the stream is like, just look around at the community. I think a lot of everyone is still here, still showing up. I would say showing up for work, right? But just, just engaging on X, posting on X, building on PulseChain. I think like, yeah, you still have the people here, which I think is the most important thing, right? Like the community and the underlying crypto. So
that's why people leave. That's why people join. That's why people stay. The community. And yeah, a wise man, I'm pretty sure, alluded to in some fashion and some quote that community is everything. It's what actually matters. And maybe we'll, it's hard to feel that through the ups and downs, but maybe one day we hit glory. It'll be like, oh yeah, of course, everything's, of course this is going to happen. Of course we're going to win. Maybe it may not always feel that way, but I'm glad we're around to talk about it and show people the good stuff in this place. So Crypto Kong, everyone, where can people find more about your stuff and all that good stuff?
Yeah, you can find me on X and YouTube at CryptoKong145, and then I have a website, lookintopdgc.com. It's a stats page for the greatest currency on PulseChain. I think one of the top performing altcoins that we've seen kind of have some steady price appreciation during these say kind of medium rough times. So yeah, lookintopdgc.com. I think that's like, if you're not already aware, something you could probably take a look at. So
yeah, some of the community projects have been killing it like recently and in the past year. And so I can't just, man, I'm very excited to see how they do when we got started, when we get started, when the core coins moon, we'll see which community projects and stuff moon as well. And oh, I'm excited, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, awesome stream again, as always.
Yeah, it's always a good one, Kong. Your 15th appearance, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it. I feel like I've become a bit of a regular. So
you have been. Well, you come here, you say smart stuff from time to time, and you're always a good conversation and add a lot of value. So appreciate you as well.
Yeah, thank you. I just try my best. So yeah, thank you.
There you go. All right, everyone. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Peace.